Even the slightest noise would instantly disrupt their judgment and actions. A great battle is about to erupt. This blind army has smeared mud across their faces. They rely on familiar smells to distinguish enemies from allies. At this moment, beneath their feet, the enemy's blind soldiers are slowly approaching. Neither side can use their eyes to confirm positions, so sharp hearing and environmental awareness become the only key to victory. As the enemy closes in to a dangerous distance, the blind king makes an immediate decision. He strikes the ground forcefully, twice in quick succession. The blind king's troops hold the high ground, gaining a brief advantage in position. As soon as the enemy's vanguard advances, they're struck by a flying iron chain and fall one after another. But the noise of weapons clashing reveals their exact positions. The enemy soon realizes they're trapped in a low-lying terrain. In the next moment, they swing their iron hooks and chains and launch a counterattack up the slope. One soldier is caught by the rope, pulled down the hill in an instant. The safety line connected to him is quickly used by the enemy as a climbing tool. Facing the relentless enemy forces, the blind king is forced to make the most brutal decision. He swings his sword and cuts the rope, sacrificing his own soldier with his own hand. Even though he's decisive and experienced in battle, there's nothing he can do against the enemy's overwhelming equipment advantage. Soon, the enemy deploys ladders and launches a second wave of attack. The disparity in numbers and equipment becomes glaringly obvious at this moment. The enemy's heavy armor and sharp weapons leave the blind king's soldiers struggling. With these superior forces, the enemy quickly turns the tide of the battle. Even the blind king himself nearly falls off the cliff and loses his life. In that life or death moment, the blind king has no choice but to make a tough decision. He sacrifices the last line of defense to prevent the enemy's advance. The blind king roars, giving the order for all soldiers to retreat immediately. In the next moment, he slashes through the support structure of the stone wall. The entire stone wall collapses in an instant, turning into hundreds of tons of boulders that roll down the mountain. The enemy at the foot of the mountain has no time to react, all buried beneath the rubble. The battlefield, once filled with the sounds of battle, falls into complete silence in the blink of an eye. But this brief calm does not make the blind king lower his guard. He immediately calls for help from the perceivers nearby, because he must find out how many enemy soldiers are left. With the help of their sensing abilities, an even worse piece of news comes. The previous attack was only a small test force from the enemy, sent to probe the defenses. At this moment, at the foot of the mountain, a large cavalry force is hiding in the noise of the environment. Wait, the real threat has only just begun.